What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of G4 Outdoors. If you just purchased a brand new Toro PowerMax 828 OAE and it's not assembled, I have the video for you. Step-by-step instructions. Stick around.
We're in the outdoors doing things that we love. We're talking guitars, girls, green grass, and guns.
So you're going to return here very shortly, and the garage is going to look very different. I am a master procrastinator. So when it comes to unboxing this, all you do is cut along the bottom here, along the dotted line, take the top off, cut 2 straps, take your snowblower off of the pallet, and that's where I'm going to run into a lot of room. I can't really do all of this on camera all at once. So I'm going to take this out of the box, go burn all the wood, and then I'll be back. This thing is an absolute giant. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a beast. It's a beast. So for the time being, that's all. I'm going to clean up my garage. So be enough room. We're going to take the instruction booklet off of here, take the zip tie off, and then we're going to take another zip tie off. There are 2 pieces here on the handlebar. These are going to be connecting rods for your chute and your forward and reverse lever. We're going to set these aside right now, and I'm going to take off the rest of the bubble wrap off of everything. Okay, so as I'm trying to figure out how to put this together, this is your instruction manual, and just follow along because there is no written word in here. It is all pictures and diagrams. So it's not going to tell you how to put this together. It's just pictures and diagrams. So I'm going to run through you with this just to make it easier for you. Okay, so you're going to get into your parts bag, and you do want to get out a couple of specific bolts and nuts. And what we're going to be working with is this goofy little top right here, a goofy looking washer, and a nut. So I do have 2 sets of these, and these will go on each side, and I'll show you how to put these in. Now on the bolt and nut that I just showed you, if you look at what's already installed, you can see how this next nut and bolt will be installed. We'll be putting them right here in this spot, and the same over here on this spot, and that will correlate with this hole right here. So, I'm sorry, not this hole. This one right here, this will swing down into this hole. So again, we're going to mimic what this bolt and nut is doing over here once we lift this handle up. There will be a little bit of tension on it. But go ahead and put that into place right there. Put this goofy looking bolt through the hole. Make sure it goes all the way through. And you do want to line that in this direction. And then a goofy looking washer will go on the inside. And just keep an eye on the one that's already here and mimic what it is doing. And then we'll put a nut on there, tighten that up as much as we can, and then we'll repeat that on the other side. Now once you have the bolts through there, let's go ahead and get this ice scraper out of the way so you can see. You're going to need a 1/2 inch ratchet or wrench. And we're going to go ahead and tighten these 4 bolts up. Okay, now we're looking at the back of the snowblower, and we're going to be using this piece right here. It will have the adjustable piece right here. Take the cotter pin off of the bottom and take the cotter pin off of this top piece right here. And there are 2 washers stored up here on this. This bottom piece right here is going to go on the bottom. This screw piece right here will be going on the top. You do want to keep this on the outside, so go ahead and stick this end through this hole right here and install the cotter pin onto the back side. Now you're going to put your throttle position all the way up into forward 6. As far forward as it will go, and lock that into position. Now you will need your 2 washers and a cotter pin. I know I said this is going to go on top and bottom. but it's going to go on either side, both sides of this piece right here. Okay, so you might need to do a little bit of adjustment on this. When this goes in here, keep this all the way down right here, and this piece, the silver piece, should fall directly into the holding spot right here. Let me bring you in and show you this real quick. So this right here is what I'm referring to. This piece should fall directly into that hole, just like that. Now, just in case you do receive this and this doesn't line up, just go ahead and screw that into a position to where that just falls right in there like that. And that's where this should be. And now we're going to put, I'm going to put this back on tripod. We're going to put a washer on here, slide this through, put a washer on, and the cotter pin. Put the washer on, put that through the hole, put another washer on, and secure that with a cotter pin. Now we're good to go, and your throttling should be working properly now. And I can tell you that it's not. Okay, so I did run into a slight problem. Pictograms and written language, there's two different ways to interpret everything. This chrome piece does not go on the outside. It does go on the inside. Otherwise, you're going to hang up on all of the bracket systems up here. So be sure that this silver piece is on the inside of this mount. So now that your rod is installed, you want to be sure that you can manipulate this all the way from reverse 2 all the way to forward 6, and make sure that that has a smooth motion and it actually goes into every one of those gears. Otherwise, you're going to have to adjust the silver piece that connects underneath here so that that will run through its full range of motion. Now let's get on to the chute. Now it's really hard to get on camera, but as you can see inside the chute there is a keyway. You're not going to be bolting a rod up in there. It just goes in there, slides in there one way. We're going to be connecting that rod from this piece right here up into that hole. Okay, next you're going to need this rod right here. It will have 2 holes on one side, a hole in the middle, and then a flat blade on this side. Let's go ahead and put the flat blade up in that hole, and it will find its spot to go into. Now we're left with this back here that we need to match these 2 holes up and bolt that together. So this will go on in a certain way. The round holes will have to go on the inside here. And the reason for that is because of these carriage bolts. It has a square piece right here. So the square piece will go on the outside there and run through a hole. So in order to get these in here, we're going to slide this rod back just a hair so that that meets up in the holes, and put another bolt in the back side. And we're going to put 2 nuts on the back side. I'm sorry I don't have you back here. They're just nuts we're putting on. And let's do a quick function test. Everything seems to be lined up and good with that. So now we're going to need a 7/16 ratchet or wrench, and go ahead and tighten these nuts up on the back side. Now these are carriage bolts, so you do want to make sure that they are fully seated inside of their spots. Now we're on the final stretch. We do have this cable that's laying down right here. This cable is going to be running the up and down motion. So we are going to secure this right here. I'm going to do this backwards just for you so you can see. So this carriage bolt, as you can see right here, it does have the squared portion right here on the bottom. That goes in to this mount. So you can see that square piece actually locks in to this mount, and that becomes its own wrench. It keeps it installed properly and in place. So we're going to slide that through the hole and put a nut on the back side. And again, with your 7/16 inch wrench, go ahead and tighten that up. And I'm going to do it backwards because it does belong on the other side. I tried to show you guys. I tried. They're not allowing me. Okay, now that we have tested this to make sure that it has the full range of motion, up and down, side to side, everything here is secure. We do have full forward 6 and full reverse 2. All of our levers are working in the way they should. There's not too much slack in these cables. If there was too much slack in these cables here, they're easy to adjust. And now the only thing left to do is put the ice scraper back onto the handle. Easy install. It just sits on top of a bolt on one side and clips on the other side, and it's going to stay right there. Okay, next, a very important part of this process is make sure that Toro has put oil in your machine for you. As you can see on, well, you can't see, but on my dipstick, it is full. If it wasn't full, you would put in the recommended weight, 530. I'm not sure of the amount of oil that actually goes into this unit, but 530 is what they're recommending on the sheet. Next thing we're going to want to do is put gas in it. Now, right here on the lid, it says E0 to E10, no E15. So my recommendation is to go with straight unleaded fuel with 0 ethanol. Now the next step is you want to make sure that your tires are aired up anywhere between 17 and 20 psi. Feels good enough to me. Now next I want to talk about the cut quality on snow and how to get the best out of your machine. It's going to take a little bit of talking right here, but I am going to talk you through it and make sure that you understand everything. This back here is your cutting edge. This is going to determine how deep and how smooth you're going to get your snowblower to the ground. I do like to have a little bit of space under here. They recommend 1/8 of an inch, and I will show you how to get that here in a minute. And well, as you can see all the way across here, these blades, they don't touch the ground. You don't want these touching the ground because you do not want to wear these out. This is a wearable item right here. This is your cutter. And here on the outside, this is a wearable item as well. And on this model, I'm just noticing, this is a very, very, very big piece compared to that unit over there. That is a really thick shoe. You're going to have a lot of snow blowing in order to wear one of these out. But this is how you're going to adjust the scraper on the inside. So the amount that you want that scraper off the ground is actually going to depend on the property that you're snow blowing. If you're going to be snow blowing a gravel driveway, take for instance, you're going to want that scraper blade as far off of the ground so that it doesn't pick up those rocks, get into that impeller and shoot rocks. You just don't want to be throwing rocks out of this thing because they'll go a mile. Maybe 100 feet. So if you're running over your driveway, and let's say your driveway is really, really flat, you want that scraper closer to the ground. Well, let me show you my situation here. Okay, so this should be kind of pretty standard. There is a little bit of a lip right here, but on every piece of concrete, you have these little lips right here from when they smoothed out the edges. So this is what you want to avoid scraping over, and that's why it's recommended to come up 1/8 of an inch so that you don't hit these and then your cutter will start bouncing around. So if you lift that up just a little bit off the ground, you'll avoid that, but you will leave a small amount of snow on the ground, but usually the sun melts that away super quickly. So just messing around out here, how to lift this up 1/8 of an inch with something of a standard. If you have your instruction manual, this is going to be really easy. Just make sure that you have it, make sure you have all the pages. We'll fold it in half, and then we'll fold it in half one more time. And this will become our shim. Okay, to start off, you're going to want to loosen each one of these nuts on each side. Okay, it's loose. We're not going to have to hammer on that. So we'll take our folded up piece of paper that I showed you about, move you over to the inside, and as you can see, there is zero gap. You can see a little bit of light, but that's not much gap at all. I want a little bit more than that. The flashlight's still on. So I am going to slide this piece of paper under here. And now hopefully you can see there's a little bit more light shining through there. And that's going to give me just the right amount of distance so that I'm not bumping up against those hard edges on the cement. Now come back over here to the outside and we will tighten these back up, ensuring that you're pushing down on these feet. So I have my flashlight behind here again, and as you can see, it's a little bit taller over there on that side, and over here the light starts to disappear just a little bit. So again, we're going to loosen these up. Now we're going to slide our piece of paper back under here, and you may need to lift up on the unit just a little bit to get that piece of paper under there. And then make sure that you are pushing down on this piece right here. That's just to ensure that this stays in contact with the ground. And now we are going to tighten these nuts back up. Now hopefully that's visible, that that is lined up and a sufficient gap all the way across there. Okay, again, very specific. E0 to E10, no E15 or higher. So like I say, just go ahead and get non-ethanol gasoline, and let's go ahead and fill our gas tank up. Make sure you put the lid on securely. So here on the back it is depicted on how the starting process of this goes. It's pretty simple. Make sure the key is in. It's not a turn key, it's just a circuit breaker key. Make sure that your key is all the way in. You have a primer button on step 2. What we're going to do is push this primer button. We'll take a listen to it. Choke. Choke will need to be all the way over, and pull the handle and then take the choke off. Now in the instructions it says that you will need to pull this 3 to 4 times. On this one right here, it has a guaranteed start system. I can pull this one right now. I'll demonstrate that here in just a second. I can pull that with one pull. Okay, so this one here has not been out since last winter. Got some flat tires. Got some pampas grass left up in there. Good on oil. Still have plenty of gas in there from last year. Smells all right. I need to run that out. So what I'm going to do, turn the fuel on, choke it, prime it, put it on rabbit, and as you can see, that's the reliability of these Toro motors. That specifically is a Toro motor. This one right here is a Briggs & Stratton, but this one here, it does have the one pull guarantee on it. I've had this for close to 10 years and it has not failed me yet. Every season I get this out, and I just demonstrated that right here, that this starts right up every single time. That one there in the owner's manual, it says pull, I think three to five times maybe, but I pulled it 6 times and it started. This Old Faithful right here started in one start. That's not downing that machine though. This being a brand new unit, we'll see how many times it takes to start it. And we will put that on high speed. Okay, so let my exercise cure your mistakes, or my mistakes, or the lack of instructions in the manual. So as you can see, this right here is your fuel shutoff valve. If it's sideways like this, to me that means that the valve is shut. If it's like this, I interpret that as the valve as being opened. And there's no instructions over here saying what it is. So your fuel valve, shutoff valve, needs to be sideways in order to run. So I'm not actually going to be able to do the initial start on it. Actually, it did start on the 6th pull, and that's because I did have it right at one point, primed it, and then I thought that the valve was wrong, so I turned it, primed it again. So I already put gas into the carburetors, and that's what caused it to start the first time. But now that it started up, that needs to be on run. It starts up and runs just fine. As far as starting this with an electric cord, this is probably going to be your best route when you're starting your machine for the first time in the season. Or if you just have a hard time pulling this and get wore out really quickly by pulling this, if you're a little bit weak and need assistance. Get a power cord out and just plug your machine in. Turn your throttle all the way over to run and push the red button. The instructions say do not push this more than 5 to 10 seconds. And then once it has started, go ahead and unplug this and you're ready to go. That is a super nice option, is to have an electric start on one of these. So guys, I hope that this video helped you out on how to assemble your brand new Toro PowerMax 828 OAE. That not only goes for this snowblower, but it really goes for all snowblowers across the line. Anyway, like I said, I hope this video helps you out. If it did help you out, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. I will have more videos coming out, so if you hit that subscribe button, I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just dream of fishing while I'm going through my workday. I listen to my boss, though he's driving me berserk. Damn it, I can't take much more because my brain is really hurting. And now the bank is always calling and I don't know what to do. And I haven't bought a crankbait since like 1992. But the bass are out there schooling and they're ready to attack. And I got all my favorite lures and they're loaded in my pack.